Hey guys, welcome back to the MFL today. We're through season 20. Just going to give you guys the quick, it's probably not going to be quick, but give you guys the update, what's going on in the off season, some end of season notes for season 20 as we head into season 21 in early August. So just a quick recap of last season. Newman beat Summer City 62-56 in Creepville 20. It was the most combined points and most combined yards in a Creepville game. Still not the most combined points and yards in an MFL game. That was the classic 79-72 Mind-Bake Springfield game in season 7. Summer City actually did break the single game passing record with 430 yards. So they went off. I think Newman broke the record, I think they tied both the records for passing touchdowns in a Creepville. Actually, no, Newman broke it. Rather, because Newman had the game winner. And so, Newman finished 9-1. Summer City finished 8-2, I believe. Wait, was it? No. Sorry, the records are kind of confusing because of how. Let me just go check it. Summer City finished 7-3. Yes, Summer City finished 7-3. Newman 9-1, and just going through it all, Newman had probably the best offensive season we've ever had. Most touchdowns, points, yards, highest completion percentage of all time. They threw over 240 passes, 2,935 passing yards, 66 passing touchdowns. So they had 71 total touchdowns. Over 2,000 total yards, 529 points. They did allow 353, which is the second most points allowed. They broke the record for defensive interceptions. Now that has an asterisk next to it because of a game against JT City where they picked off 6 times, I believe. Summer City actually broke the record for sacks in a season. They had 11. Those are all the records. Actually, no, Summer City did break the record for most pass attempts with 261 passing attempts. They only completed 49% of the passes. Newman threw 20 less passes but completed 73.9% of the passes. So you can see the how do I put it? The kind of advantage that Newman had over Summer City at completing more passes. Way more passes. And Newman did break the record for most completions in a single season. We did have 4 teams throw the ball 200 times: Newman, Summer City, Metro City, and the Long Beach Rams. We had 6 teams throw for over 1,000 yards. That's a league record. The Long Beach Raiders were the only team to rush for over 1,000 yards. They ran for 1,010 yards on 134 carries. With 16 rushing touchdowns, which actually didn't lead the league. Metro City led the league with 20 rushing touchdowns. JT City threw the most interceptions with 9. They scored the least amount of points with 49. They didn't give up the most. The Rams actually gave up the most at 359. But they did have the largest point differential of anyone we have ever seen. They were also 8 for 46 on third downs, and they went 0-8. So JC City just not a great year. And then when we look at just single season numbers, Newman, the first best passing season of all time. Summer City actually jumped up into the third best passing season with 2,206 yards. It was the most. They were the only team other than Newman to break 2,000 yards for the first time in league history. The Long Beach Rams threw for 1,570 yards. They cracked the top 10 in a single season. Same with touchdowns. Newman first, Summer City fourth of 40 touchdowns. Summer City also the first team other than Newman to throw for 40 touchdowns in the season. The Long Beach Rams hit 30. Total points, Newman 529. That is the most ever. Summer City 365. They jumped in to the top 10 of all time. Newman over 3,000 yards. That's the most in a single season. The Long Beach Rams and Summer City both jumped into that list as well. So the Long Beach Rams, a very dangerous team in my opinion, heading into next season. They were up there in terms of offensive numbers with the two best teams in the league last season. Those teams, of course, being Newman and Summer City. All time, I'll get to that one in a second. Metro City jumped up to third all time in rushing yards. They are past 7,500 rushing yards. Passing yards, Newman eclipsed 20,000. Summer City jumped up to second. All-time passing yards with over 9,000. Newman eclipsed 400 passing touchdowns. Summer City jumped up to second in that category as well. And then, so we got through all that, and if you guys have been following along, you knew that the Riverside Titans were going to retire, and then the Springfield Wildcats retired after 10 plus seasons. Ended it very disappointing end for the Springfield Wildcats. They finished 1-7. They finished 38-53 all time in the MFL. They were second in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns with 11,309 yards and 165 touchdowns. Passing, they actually rank in the top 5 in both yards and passing touchdowns, but that's just because they played forever. Riverside, they lost a 16-14 playoff game to the Long Beach Rams. Disappointing way to go out for both those for Riverside as well. Riverside was actually one of the better teams we've had, and they've been considered the best team coming from the AFL in 6 seasons. They had a 28-17 record, including only the third undefeated season in league history, when they went 8-0 and won the Creek Bowl in season 19. And so that brought us down to 6. And if you guys had watched or listened at least, or on the Instagram, you knew that we were going to bring in the East Lake Jaguars and the Fort Paul Comets. Well, after the Creek Bowl is when we typically start distributing the schedule. Well, Fort Paul left as soon as they saw their schedule. I don't think it was because they saw their schedule, but it just happened to be when they told me. And then we removed the East Lake Jaguars due to inactivity. So then we needed 2 teams to fill that spot, and well, we found them. Crossington is coming back, and the Mine Bank Seahawks will be coming out of retirement, but rebranding as the Oakwood Surge, and they'll be in a new stadium. So Oakwood Surge back. They actually did play a season as Surge in season 10. They actually won the Creek Bowl, so that's something to look out for. Crossington is finally back after 2 seasons off. Because of not having the Xbox One edition of the game. Now, they were both going to come back, no matter what happened with those 2 rookies, but now they come back and they're even more prominent. So we will have 8 teams again. Oakwood and Crossington are just going to fill into the Power 8 to replace Springfield and Riverside. So the Redstone Conference remains the same with Summer City, Metro City, Long Beach Raiders, and JT City Dolphins. JT City going to a more Miami Vice themed uniforms and color scheme this season, so that'll be interesting to look out for. The Long Beach Rams are going to introduce more yellow into their color scheme. Some City wanting to put in some more black, and so because those rookies are left, we then scrambled to build a schedule, which we built, and it's a unique schedule because a lot of teams play. Because the way the scheduling works is you play 3 teams in your conference twice, and then you play 2 non-conference opponents. Well, what happened because we kind of had to scramble to build the schedule? There's actually a lot of instances where teams are playing the same team 2 times in 3 weeks. And again, that's just because we had to get the schedule out, and I couldn't spend too much time trying to figure it out. Like the Long Beach Raiders have an interesting end to their schedule. Their last 4 games are against Some City and JT City. So yeah, the schedule does get wonky a little bit, but in my mind, I think it still is a pretty good schedule. We should have some good games late, good conference games late, good early games. So let's get into it. It should be on your screen right about now. Newman and Oakwood will be playing week 1 in Newman. That would be our kickoff game, hopefully. If not, it would just be a night game. Oakwood actually opens up their new stadium against Newman. Metro City goes on the road to the Long Beach Raiders, Long Beach actually beat Metro City in the playoffs, but just how it worked out. The Long Beach Rams will visit Crossington's first game back, and then the defending Redstone Conference champions travel to JT City, as JT City looks to win their first game this season. Other than that, Powerade Conference Championship rematch in week 2, as long as the Redstone Conference Championship rematch in week 2. Metro City at Some City, Long Beach Rams at Newman. Oakwood visits Long Beach for the first time in week 7. Oakwood goes to JT City in week 2. Mason and Tao, that should be a good game. Crossington's first 3 games are against the Long Beach teams. JT City gets off to a tough stretch. Summer City, Oakwood, Summer City, Metro City. Then their schedule eases up a little bit with Crossington and the Raiders 2 times. So their last 3 games, the last 4 games, it eases up a little bit. The schedule does. Let's see here. Crossington actually ends their season at Newman, at Oakwood. So if they're trying to vie for a playoff spot, that's going to be challenging. Let's see what else. Newman and Metro City play, so do Summer City and Newman. So we get a Creeper Bowl rematch, but actually in Summer City. Again, just another way the schedule worked out. We wanted Summer City to go to Oakwood to play in the new stadium, and so that just caused Newman to go to Summer City. Metro City coming over to Newman. Back-to-back weeks, so those should be good. Summer City, both teams have kind of a Long Beach game. And I mean, you can look at the schedule, and the playoff teams shouldn't be too hard to predict. Now again, there's a lot of unknowns, but if you were to just look at the schedule, you'd say Newman, Oakwood, Long Beach Rams, Some City, Metro City, Long Beach Raiders. But it is the unknown. No team has ever come back from being off, especially 2 seasons, and been that good. Springfield struggled coming back. Summer City struggled coming back. Creepton struggled coming back. East Mindbake struggled coming back. Now East Mindbake was a different scenario, but teams struggle coming back. So what does that mean for Crossington? The last time we saw Crossington and Oakwood play, Crossington was beating Oakwood. So we don't know. We have no idea what we're going to see, especially in the Powerade Conference, with how Oakwood and Crossington will shape up. Again, Newman, Long Beach Rams, we feel confident. We'll see them win games. Newman might struggle a little bit more. Oakwood tries Metro City, Summer City. So they might struggle a little bit. The Rams get a somewhat favorable non-conference. They get the Raiders again, but they do have to go to Metro City. So that could be that could be a challenge. But yeah, so that's the schedule. Again, just a lot of unknown in the Power 8 conference, so we'll see how that turns out. And then the day you guys, this is coming up Saturday. So we actually are going to have preseason games. In fact, there are probably some preseason games going on right now. I know you guys are watching this, but we're not going to upload them just because, they're boring. There's no excitement in preseason games. It's all just going through the motions, warming up. We do it to try. We're going to try to do it to try to make the first, especially week 1, more entertaining. Better play. Because like last season we had some pretty slow starts in games. Just try to get everyone warmed up and ready for the season. And then season is scheduled to start August the 7th. If we do have Newman and Oakwood as the first game of the season, it will of course be live streamed, as we try to do with the opening game of a season. Opening game of season if it's the Creep Row champion. Because I think we did that last season with Riverside. I don't know. It's been so long I've forgotten some of the stuff that happened in season 20. But yeah, guys. So preseason's starting or going on right now. While you guys are watching this, regular season will begin August 7th. Again, there will be another video coming up probably around August the 2nd, August the 3rd, detailing detailing what's going to happen with detailing what's going to happen with week 1 in terms of live streams and just when games will come out. So yeah, guys, again, thank you guys for watching. I know this got pretty long for a typical MFL today, but we wanted to talk, give you guys a lot of information on what's coming up, and we should have a good season 21, a good first 21st season. I think this is season 17 on YouTube. I think. Yeah. I think this is season 17. That would be on YouTube. So, you guys thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you with another MFL today in about 10 days. See you guys.